Hey, Wisconsin group, I'm back. I'm sorry. I don't want to seem like I'm a bumbling idiot, you know. So I didn't want to just have you guys think. You know, like I said, I don't script anything. Obviously, I mean, we're not whatever. But so I forgot to mention on the get out of Dodge scenario right away, right? But also when you do, okay, so I'm gonna cover a couple other things here. Whether you're bugging in or bugging out, they both have pros and cons, right? So the worst part, I mean, I think maybe I'll go over that in another video. Just call it bugging in or bugging out. But if you're bugging out, which my wife and I are doing because we have to get to our destination, we're not staying where we're at. We're not in a large city. We live in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I don't care if people know where the hell I live. Our shop's in Burlington. She's an RN at Kenosha Hospital. So we got to leave, right? We got to leave. So when we do, we have the bug out trailer, and yeah, if we can drive out, right? If there's not an EMP event. But regardless, if you're going out to the woods in a desolate area, and you know you got that whole 5 to 7 day window, man, make as much noise as you possibly can, because like I said, people are going to be like, oh, it'll come back on. No, it ain't coming back on. So or it's not going to get better, whether it's a power out scenario or, you know, martial law, whatever the case is. So you're going to want to make as much noise as you possibly can when you get out to the woods. We have a chainsaw. So your very first mission is to get a lot of firewood, right? So you're going to want to go and cut down it, like, okay, so let's you know, jumping around once again. So say for instance, we set up our bug out trailer in the middle of these woods. I got a clear path to pull the truck in, once again, if you can drive. If you got to set up a tent, which we have a couple of them, then I need to chop down an area, right? So I'm gonna drop as many trees as possible in my first 24 hours, so that I don't have to really make any noise with the chainsaw after that. Then I got to cut up manageable pieces of firewood to obviously keep us warm and to cook with and boil water and everything else. So you're going to want to drop small trees, manageable trees. You're going to have to delimb them, which you don't have to delimb with a chainsaw. You can do that with a regular axe or a hatchet because the branches aren't that big, the twigs. And then you're going to want to cut them, you know, and however big your Dakota fire hole is, or however big your fire is going to be. I got a buddy that's years ago was going to school to be a doctor, and he analogized, if that's even a word, the human body to a campfire, because if you eat small portions every so often throughout the day, your body's burning that wood, that fuel, right? It's burning it as it gets it in small portions. Well, he analogized it to a fire, that if you were to take a large, big-ass piece of wood and put it on a fire, it would almost burn, it would almost smother it, and it would take forever for that fire to combust that piece of large wood you're putting in there. So you don't want to put large pieces in there, right? You want a slow burning hot fire. So you want to take your chainsaw, drop as many trees within a perimeter of where you're setting up. So then you can go and you can hurry up and cut them down in manageable pieces. You don't want any big ass trunks. You know, the bigger the tree, the less work you got to do. Well, no, it's not true. The bigger the tree, the more work you have to do. And you don't want to be cutting down healthy trees. You want to cut down all the dead ones first. Use all the branches and all the dead, and then obviously once you're done cutting down the dead ones, or what if you don't have any dead ones? Drop, you know, maybe 4-6 inch trees around your area, and then obviously you can delimb them with an axe or whatever. But within that first 5 or 7 days, make, noise or whatever. So who cares if you're running a chainsaw out in the wilderness? I mean, other people will be like, oh, someone's cutting firewood or whatever. But now after that 7th day, they're going to be coming to that noise. So you don't want to make that kind of noise after the 7th day. And then what you want to do is you want to clear a perimeter around your camp so you can actually see. I would do 50 yards minimum, so that somebody can't just sneak up on you. If somebody were to, if you had a flat area of 50 yards, that's pretty significant. Nobody's going to be able to sneak up on you in a 50 yard perimeter around your camp. And obviously, as time goes on, you're going to want to even clear it back further. So then, you obviously, because you don't want people sneaking up on you, whether it's a human being or an animal. So you don't want to provide them cover. So that's kind of that. Also, another thing you want to do is you're going to want to carry a couple tarps in your bug out, location, so you can lay a tarp down on the ground to stack your firewood on top of that tarp, and then you want to drape a tarp over it. Why do you want to do this? To keep your firewood dry, right? And the reason why I say that is people are like, it's not senseless. Because if you know anything about burning wood, wet wood smokes a lot, right? It smokes a lot. Well, what happens when you start setting off smoke from your camp? You can see that from miles away. So you're giving off your position, you're giving off your location, and it falls right underneath the same thing as noise and light discipline. Well, now you got visual discipline. You can't, you don't want people to see you. So if you have wet wood, they're going to see you, man, if you're burning it, because it's going to smoke like crazy. So dry your wood out, people. Dry it out. Like I said, lay a tarp on the ground from the ground, and you're going to want to have a lot of firewood, man. That's going to be like almost a daily activity, is collecting and chopping firewood. And again, even if you're swinging an axe, man, that shit can echo in the forest. So that's just going to be something that you're going to have to contend with as you go. Well, make as much noise as you want. Like I said, for that first 5 or 7 days with your chainsaw, man, it's going to make your work a lot easier than having to hand chop a big ass tree. I mean, we got axes, and like I said, we got wedges and all that kind of stuff. So, and have enough, if you do have a chainsaw, have enough oil, because it's a 2-cycle oil and gas mix, so have enough of that on hand. And hey, a chainsaw could be a hell of a weapon, man. Look at Chainsaw Massacre, right? So that dude was tearing people up. I mean, I think I'd be more afraid if somebody had a chainsaw coming at me than somebody that had a gun coming after me, man. Imagine having a chainsaw rip through your body. No, not at all. That's horrible. So anyway, so you got yourself, a great working tool and a defense tool as well. A very intimidating defense tool. Also, and I didn't do a fun fact on the last video, so now I got to do 2 fun facts. Anyway, so that's kind of that. Also, my wife and I, another thing for your bug out bag, we have a lot of silver. We have enough, but we're accumulating it every month. We have a budget for it. So I carry 20 ounces of silver. It's a bullet. There's 20 1-ounce coins in it. Again, you can kind of barter with it. And people, I don't know, if somebody were to give me a silver, we wanted to get one of those silver testers, but I guess they're pretty expensive. We don't have money. I mean, we do okay, but, we're not rich by any means. So, but anyways, so she carries, silver, I carry silver. It's just something else to have in your bug out bag. It's 20 ounces. I mean, it's something we bought it a $1.05 over spot price. John X had a link on one of his videos where you can actually buy it at spot price. So I'm going to actually look on that. So thanks, John X. I know you're not ever going to watch this video, but thank you. So, that's kind of that. Fire, noise, light, everything is you got to do everything tactically, man. I mean, that's people are going to come for your shit, man. They're going to come for it. Don't think, just don't think that people are going to come up to your camp and be like, hey, how you doing, neighbor? No. And if they do, they have an ulterior motive. They're not just going to come up and say hi. So you're going to have to be, basically, the larger the group, the better the group. Yeah, you have more mouths to feed, and there's more this, and there's more chances of confrontation because, everybody's stressed out and everybody's bugging, right? No pun intended, bugging out, bugging. But, everybody's tripping, right? So, you don't want a large, people think, oh, we're going to bug in, we got our canned goods, and my husband and I. Good luck with that, because if you and your husband, or you and your friend, or you and even another couple, say 4 people, you're going to want 2 people on guard duty at all day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You are going to have to pull 24-hour security. And with 2 people, not one person, because one person, it gets boring, you can possibly fall asleep. But 2 people can obviously motivate each other, help each other out, talk a little bit. And you're going to want to do a patrol around your camp. Just do daily patrols, man. Somebody could be setting up an observation post on you just to see what's going on in your camp. Well, if you do patrols around your camp, 2 people, I wouldn't use two assault rifles, or I wouldn't do 2 shotguns, or I would do 1 assault rifle or 1 shotgun, and each one of them have a sidearm. That way, if they're both compromised, you're losing 2 handguns and a shotgun, or an AR instead of 2 ARs or 2 shotguns. If they get compromised and they get killed, or they get, I know it sounds crazy, like captured, but anyways, you're out 3 weapons instead of 4. Or just have them have 2 handguns. Regardless, whatever the case is, it's the group's decision. But you're going to have to pull 24-hour security, man. Even if we're fortunate enough to where we have an indoor bathroom it's going to have piping and everything to a shitter hole, right? But even if you don't have that convenience, you're going to have to go to the bathroom outside, and you're going to have somebody go with you. You're going to have somebody go with you, because if you're sitting there, squatting and trotting by a tree, and somebody can sneak up on you. So ladies go with ladies, guys go with guys. That's just the way it's going to always be forever, until whatever happens. So that's kind of that. Well, like I said, we'll talk about the bugging in or bugging out in another video. I need to kind of think about the pros and cons to both. Each one of them have a pro and a con. So pros and cons, plural, not singular. And Sarah, I hope you get better, baby. I know you're not feeling very well. You're not feeling well at all. So I love you. So fun fact for this video and the other video. Which I don't really know if it's a fun fact, but Hitler, POS, that stands for piece of shit. Hitler actually was living in Austria at the time during World War I, and he was an artist. He was a broke artist. He would go from pub to pub and try to sell his artwork for a couple pennies or whatever, so he could pay his rent. But he wanted to join the Austrian army, but he couldn't pass the physical. He could barely operate and carry it was something with the Austrian military rifle. He didn't pass the Austrian physical for the military, so they declined him. So that's why he was so mad at Austria when he became the German chancellor or whatever. He had a huge vendetta against Austria. That's why that was his first country he invaded. But anyway, so he went and when Germany entered World War I, he went and joined, and Germany was accepting anybody. And so he joined the German army. And I guess he was actually a good soldier. He volunteered for a job in the battlefield. You know, they had trenches dug everywhere. You know, Fox, and he just connected trenches. And what they would do is I don't know if they had communications like comms, we called them in the military, where they could actually phone from bunker to bunker, or foxhole to foxhole, or trench to trench. But I don't know if they did or not, because maybe if they did, maybe they didn't want the enemy to overhear them, or tap into their comms. So they needed these things called trench runners or bunker runners. And what they would do is a commander would write a note or a letter to another commander in another bunker or trench. They needed to obviously get it over there, so they had these trench runners. And Hitler volunteered for it. And he was actually a runner, and you're getting shelled and shot at and everything else. So he actually volunteered for that. Also, he used to have a really big mustache, huge, like over his mouth, and that's before his little. The reason why he cut his mustache down so small is there was a gas attack in the trenches. The enemy gassed the Germans, and he went to don his gas mask, and it wouldn't seal around his face. That's very important. Like if I had a gas mask, this wouldn't work, because you need a direct contact seal from your face to the rubber on the mask. And I got buddies that are firemen that do the same thing. They can't have goatees and stuff like that. So he went to don his mask, and it wouldn't seal. So he almost died. And that same day, he cut his mustache down to the little thing there. So, and then what had happened was, when Germany lost the First World War, they owed retribution to all these other countries, and they were in the treaty. They couldn't own weapons, and they couldn't have a strong military. So Hitler was, he was such a devout German soldier. He went and he asked some officers or something in the German command if they had any work for him, and there was a anti-Germany party that was disgusted with the Germans for surrendering during World War I, and so they had Hitler go. He was working for the German army, and he would go in civilian clothes and go into these pubs and listen to this party that was preaching, Germany anti this and everything like that, and then he would go back and he would report to the officers. Well, when he was there listening to the party, he actually made a lot of sense, because he was a devout German, and so he actually joined the party, and then he became like second to the Chancellor of Germany. Kind of worked his way up, and they tried a military coup, which didn't work. And anyway, so I wouldn't know if that's really a fun fact, but it's fact. But anyway, so I owed you kind of a little fun fact for the last video and this video. I'm shaking. I got my arm rested on my stick shift. So, anyways, I hope once again this was informative. Hit the like button, share it if you want, whatever. Sorry I made 3 videos today, but I'm in a talkative mood, obviously. Love all you guys, and have a great day, huh? Kurt Spella out. Ciao.